It is Christmas time. Hopefully you've gotten most of your presents already bought or getting close to it. I'm not sure where we stand. My husband does some of this because he deals with the kids' techie stuff more than I do. I am listening to, if you don't recognize it, the Charlie Brown Christmas music CD. I love it. It's one of my favorites. I usually listen to this the most. So, cool beans. I love it. It's awesome. Welcome and thank you for joining me. It is December 12th. You always have to think about those things when you're about to say them. December 12th is Thursday. Hopefully this will be uploaded and on the web, the YouTube site on Friday. Usually I can get it done within a day. So, welcome and thank you for joining me and all that good stuff. Once again, I know I've been saying that a couple of times. If my hair is blowing around a little bit, that's because I have a very slight fan blowing on me because I get hot all the time, especially for some reason. Even though I'm not nervous, it's just like all the stuff that I'm doing here, I just get a little warm. So to try and prevent that, I am doing it in front of a little bit of a fan. As you can see, I'm in front of my Christmas tree, so you can enjoy that while you're watching. I have several giveaways because it is Christmas time that I'm going to do, but you're going to have to watch the end of the video. Now, you might want to fast forward through certain parts that you don't care about and you don't like, but that's okay. We watch the parts that we want to watch and what we like. So stay tuned for that, in other words. Let's see. Where shall we start? Turn the music down so you don't have to listen to that the whole time. Stitchy kindness. I got a lovely little card, Christmas card, and as you can see down here, Patchy Pony Stitcher. She's lovely. She is in Australia, actually Tasmania to be specific, but it is part of Australia. I just think it's a hoot that she gets cards that are designed and has her name on all this just for her. Within that lovely little card, she sent me some floss. So nice of her. So nice of her. So thank you very much, Mel. I love it. It's great. All right. Shout out. I want to shout out two people that are doing a Flosstube together. Sorry, I just bumped the table. I believe one of them had her own YouTube channel, but they're doing this together. They're friends, but they don't live near each other. One lives in Minnesota and one lives in Michigan. A little bit of a distance there. They are called M&M Stitchers. I will put that in the description so you can find it. I don't know, when I first heard about them and I was trying to find them, I don't know why I couldn't find them. I don't know if I was typing it in the way that it was being spelled in spaces or whatever. It wasn't coming up. So hopefully having that listed will help you find them. So Shannon is from Minnesota. She's getting ready to move, so she's not going to live in the exact same place that she used to live in. It's probably 2 hours distance from where she used to live to where she's going to move to. Jodi lives in Michigan. They are lovely. They're very nice ladies. A hoot. I do like to watch them. They make me laugh at times, but they're good. I really like them. Their first video they actually did together is kind of get to know your Stitcher kind of video, because Jodi was visiting in Minnesota, so they were able to do it together. The second video was kind of a continuation. They just separated them into two different videos, so they were together for both the first and the second. The third video that they've put up, and all the other ones subsequently, unless somebody's visiting with each other, is going to be done through Skype. So they'll be side by side on the video and talking that way. Jodi and I share a love of Sweet Home Alabama movie. Just if I happen to notice it's on, it's not like I go out and look for it and set my timer and DVR and all that kind of stuff. I don't do that. But if I happen to know it's on, then I will probably watch it. It's sweet. I love Reese Witherspoon. My tongue worked correctly. It's a nice little movie. Shannon and I share the fact that we both lived in Minnesota. She still lives there. I don't, but I did live there for a good many number of years. So we kind of share that. She cracks me up. She reminds me a lot of myself. So it's all good. It's a lot of fun. So check them out if you can. I know it's one more YouTube to watch, one more Flosstube to watch, but you might like them. You know, it's kind of like you got to try all these different ones and find the ones that are in your groove, the ones that you really like, and then you have a good list to choose from. Okay, let's get into some stitchy stuff. I believe I might have mentioned this in October around Halloween when I did the, I think it was the mice on the shoe. And I kind of did it as a part of my Halloween display because they had pumpkins and things there. And I had mentioned, oh, I did the Christmas tea one with the mice. And if I get that out and I have that out, I'll show it to you when it's out. And so now it's Christmas time and I've pulled all that stuff out. I can show you. So here is my Christmas tea. So obviously the stitched part. And it does come with these little tags for you to cut out and use. The teapot I found in an antique store, I believe. The garland I just bought, I think, at Joann's or something, real cheap. The tray, I believe, because I did this all last year, so I'm trying to remember. I believe I found the tray at Goodwill or something like that, and it doesn't have the greatest thing on the inside of the tray. But since I'm covering it all up, it's not, you're not seeing it. So it's good. We're all good. So yeah, very nice. I love the fact that the teapot, when I found it, really kind of matched that red color that's stitched in there. It's the right shade and everything. So fun stuff. Love the mice. Alrighty, we'll set that down. Hopefully nothing's going to go falling somewhere. The next thing I'm going to talk about my purchases. I think in the last video I didn't have any purchases, or I had part of one, but I wanted to wait until I had all the supplies for the rest of it before I showed it. When we went to First Thursday meetup, I bought a few things as usual. All right, so the first one, and I don't know if all of these are new releases or she's just putting out things that look Christmassy and they make me think they're new. It's hands-on design. It's called House on a Hill. Okay. It is a pin cushion. It does have a scissor fob thing down here too. But what I thought was so adorable on this is that it comes with a little piece of wool. And that's what goes up in here for the pincushion part. I mean, I'm sure you could stick the pins anywhere you wanted to, but I really like the fact that it had the wool and you could put, wool applique onto it, onto your pincushion. So cute. So that's the first one. The next thing that I want to show is the little stitcher is who made it. It's called Little Red Bird. I love cardinals. Here in Oregon, we don't get them. It's just not the place for them. We do get blue jays, which a lot of people don't like because they're kind of annoying. I like them. I don't know. They're very pretty. That's why I like them. Some of them can squawk and be very obnoxious and steal things and whatnot. Pester, be a little bit of a pest. But I love the cardinals, especially for winter time. They're beautiful in whatever you stitch them with. you did see them in Minnesota. Obviously, there's other states that have them too. So I did get to see, we had a male and a female pair that would come to our yard. So I did get to see them when I lived there. They're beautiful, gorgeous. All right, and along the lines of the mice, picking up the mice stuff, Chantilly lace. This is the Christmas mice. Very cute. Along the lines of, I have another Chantilly lace one that's Halloweeny, and you know, they're kind of standing along here all dressed up in their Halloween costumes and different things. So this will be a nice, if I swap it out for the season, for the holiday, then that'll be a nice replacement for it. All right, and the thing that I had gotten last time that I was waiting to get the rest of my stuff for is this. It's Mirabilia. It is Miss Cherry Blossom. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Of course, I love Asian themed things. I don't really decorate it with much, but I love the look of the designs whenever you find things. They're just so pretty. I have never done a Mirabilia before. I don't know when I'll start this, but it's gorgeous. It is stitched on some pink fabric. This is not quite showing up true to color. There we go. There it is. Show it towards the light. It's called Touch of Pink. It's 32 count. So we got that, and then I did not get the threads yet because they're DMC and I can get those. They're not too expensive to get those. But I did order the thread pack, or the bead pack. Oh yeah. Yay. And for a Mirabilia, this was not very expensive bead pack. It was like $20, where I know they can be $40 or $50. So very, very pretty. Can't wait. I do like working with beads on my whatever pieces I'm doing, whether that's just a simple Mill Hill kit or whatever. I do like to work with the beads. So those are my purchases. Not a lot, but you know, a little add to the stack every once in a while. I did go to a thrift store. I haven't really gone a lot lately because I've been really busy doing some other stuff. So I took some time and decided to check out a couple of them in the town that we live close to. I did find one thing I'm going to show you. Can't remember if I found other things, but this is one thing that I can incorporate into my cross stitching. And that is these. Are they fantastic? Very happy. I don't know if I'll leave them this color or if I'll end up painting them or something, like a distressed kind of look or whatever. I don't know. Obviously, probably candle holder or something, but wouldn't this be great for a drum? Fantastic for a drum. I've never done a drum. I don't know that I have a pattern for a drum, but I am ready in case I do a drum. So that is my find for the thrift store. It's so much fun whenever you do kind of find those lovely little treats. Whips. Let's get into some whips. So I am only doing 2 right now. Y'all know that's going to change. The one, we'll start with this one. Ornament Trio. Very Christmas time appropriate. I'm getting pretty far with this. I really only have to do like back stitching. Maybe a little bit of full stitches in this, but mostly it's back stitching. And I don't mind back stitching. I really don't. It doesn't bother me. So let's get into what I have done with this so far. Pretty awesome. Move that down a little bit. So I have the ornaments, all of the full stitches done on them. As I mentioned, I do have to go back and do back stitching. I did already do the back stitching around this design stuff and this design stuff. I have not done the back stitching on the inside of this. There's a little bit more, I think, in these as well. I think with Krynic that I have to do back stitching on. There's outlining for the ornaments. And then I have to finish the rest of the scroll work over here. So it's getting really close to finishing. If I actually take the time and stop working on other things and work on this, it goes pretty quick. It doesn't take a terrible long time. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Alrighty, and my other whip, which if you've been watching and you've been keeping track, you know what that's going to be. And that is my Hade. Let's see where we're not going to get glare. Too many options. So this is the Hade that I'm working on. I mentioned in the last video, now I'll insert at some point here, wherever I put a break, where I had left off from the last video, the starting point for this last 2 weeks. And that way you can see how much I've done. But in my title for my last video, I had said something about, can you find the hidden fox? I don't know if anybody took me seriously or not. Nobody commented on it, so I don't know if you noticed. The funny thing is I didn't even notice this while I was stitching it. I noticed it when I was doing the video last time, and it wasn't until I think I went back and watched the video to make sure everything looked all right and I was editing and everything that I noticed it. I'm like, wow, I didn't see that before. So I'll show you how much I've done and show you what I was talking about for the hidden fox. But here's the before shot. All right, and here is what I have done so far. Get you all the way, scroll you across here. So I was starting over here at this tail, if you remember from seeing that, and I've done a good chunk. I averaged a lot more than I ever have so far, and that was 237 stitches for each day that I stitch. And I did a lot. I think I only missed one this month so far. So I probably doubled what I normally do within 2 weeks. So I did a lot. Now, as to the hidden fox, he is right here. He's right there, people. It just blends in. Like if you've worked with Hade, you know that when you get closer, things kind of blur. And you don't really get the whole picture very well until you step back and you start looking at things a little better. It's not pixelated as much. But man, there he is. There's that little fox hiding in those brushes. Yeah, so this is getting there a lot. Depending on how much I stitch, if I do kind of the same amount of stitching, I may finish over to the edge on this particular little section. It's getting there, it's getting there. So I'll show you real quick what the whole picture looks like. So I am over in this area here, which is like a dragon laying down. And see, I can't even tell some of this because not only is it pixelated when I'm stitching it, but I'm not stitching as high, so I'm only getting part of it. Like for example, the horse, he's gonna be headless for a little while because I don't go that high right now in those couple of rows. So there's also like an Asian umbrella, I believe, and looks like a mask and some other things. That is what I'm going to be getting to. So it's getting there, and I did a lot, so that's really cool. As I mentioned, I am still planning to do the 31 starts in January, kind of as a new year thing, but also for my birthday month, because it is in January. So nobody has said they want to be part of that, which I don't blame you. But if you do, or a version of that, shout out to me and we'll do something like that together. The next things that I'm going to talk about, the next thing is kind of journaling. I know some people like to keep a stitching journal. So I'm going to kind of go into what I am doing, kind of how I've done things this year, and then what I'm going to do for next year. So what I've done in the past was something just this simple. It was, graphed paper, because what I would do is write the days across for the month, and that way I could list the projects and then check off, put an X in the box when I worked on them that day. The only difference was if I kept count of the stitches, which the only one I'm doing that on is my Haid. So I would write down the number of how many stitches I did on the box instead of just putting an X. So that is what I did this past year, which has been so cool. I'm going to kind of summarize that, I think, in the next video of what I did this last year and how much I really got done, because I think I far exceeded any other year for what I've done. And I think part of that is keeping track of stuff. Part of it's doing this video so that I have stuff to get done to show, kind of, just an accountability thing. It's kind of turned into that. So that's been really nice. What I'm going to do is use more of a journal, an actual journal. So I am a huge planner type of person. I like the happy planner stuff. If you've gone into any kind of craft store, you've seen these. So I love doing that stuff. What I have had before in the ways, I'm just going to quickly show something. It's the big one here. This is more for my, just kind of keep track of what I do. Not necessarily stitching related, but just kind of keep, calendar type of thing. Part of the reason I like doing these is because I can decorate them, and it's all that crafty kind of stuff, and I really like it. So things like this, you get to put all the stickers and then keep track of stuff. Kind of another look that I have done, a little bit more sunny floral kind of stuff. So that is what I keep. So I am still doing this, and I will continue to do this because it keeps track of, just more of my general day-to-day kind of things. Whereas my other one that I have gotten recently, this one, a little smaller, not as big, is going to be where I keep track of more work-related stuff. So when I work on work stuff, I'm going to kind of keep track of that so I know how much time I'm doing for that. But it's also going to be part stitchy journal as well, that kind of stuff. Now, it is pretty thick. When I got this, clearly they're not going to have stitchy journal stuff in it. So it was only that thick. That's the month to month stuff. This one's a little different because it's not, it's laid out differently, but it gives you like times. So I can keep track of stuff that I'm doing throughout the day. So that's a little different than the other one. There's so many varieties of these happy planners, people. Because I basically doubled the size of this thing. And because I did that, and I knew I was going to do that, I got the extended discs, because the one that came with this was much smaller, and I would not have been able to have this be that big. So yeah, I got the extended ones so that I could add all this stuff to it. Now, what I had done is I actually saw somebody else, a planner person, and I think that she stitches as well, obviously, or she wouldn't have gotten this stuff. She mentioned this, and so that is why I got this. And I'm the type of person, I've got to see what the journal looks like in order to see if it's going to work for me, if I'm going to like how the page is laid out, if it's got the information I want to be able to record in it. I'm not just going to go on Amazon or whatever, see the cover book and say, oh, it's a stitchy book, I'm going to get it. No, that's not the way it works for me. So this one that this other stitcher had shown and just kind of snagged me is called Shazie in Stitches. So it's SHAZIE in Stitches. And she sells downloadable, printable pages. So you're not getting something that's already printed. You have to print it yourself. But the nice thing about that, now she does have two versions. She does have something that already has like flowers, and I think it's in pink is what it's called or something like that. So it does have some color to it. Or you can just get a plain black and white one and then print it on your own paper, your own decorative paper the way you want it to be, which is what I chose to do because I wanted different kind of pages to look at. I didn't want just the same colored page for every single thing. So that's what I did. I will also put her information down in the comments so that you can see that in case you want to go look at them. There's a ton of different pages, a lot. I only have, when you get the basic package, you're getting a whole bunch of stuff to be able to print. There are a couple of add-on things that you can choose to buy as well. You don't have to though. So basically the main package is probably going to have mostly what you want. It comes with not only pages, but divider pages as well. So you can print something out that has kind of a title page to divide up stuff. So yeah, you can go on there and just look and see if it's going to work or make sure that you pick the correct size that you want for your page. Because as I showed in my bigger planner, it's a much bigger page, probably close to that 8.5 by 11 size, whereas my other journal that I'm going to actually use this for is smaller, probably more like a 9 by 7. So you got to make sure you're picking the right one that's going to be the download for you. Okay, so that's the only thing. If you are going to use it in a happy planner, if you know, you're going to have to punch as well. You have to punch the holes, and it's not just the normal holes like you would in a 3-ring binder. For one thing, there are several holes, and for another, they're kind of a mushroom shape, so they've got a slit and then they kind of curve around and then slide back down, so you have to have that slit area. I highly recommend that you go to Joann's or Michael's with, probably Hobby Lobby as well, with your 40% off or more coupon to buy that hole punch, because otherwise it's a little spendy. But so much better than trying to punch all the holes for every page and then cut little slits in them. So, you can do it. And I did it for a few pages in my big planner before I had a hole punch. But yeah, I highly recommend it. So, some of the things that I have chosen to print out and have as part of my journal. So here's just kind of a title page. So here's the example where I can print it on my own paper if I wanted to, because it's just black and white. So this is just kind of like a title, not even a divider page, my stitching journal. So some of the things, and then what I did was just got tabs that can stick to those pages, and that way it's easy to find. So I have a monthly one, and this is the one that's going to replace that notebook. This is the part that will replace that. So I will show you, let me see if I can find something that's makes it easy to see. Some of my pages on camera might not show some of the detail as well. So here's an example. So it has a place for your month. I wrote in the year because there really wasn't, I think I had to white out the year before I copied it onto this page or something, I can't remember, because there wasn't enough room. I needed to make it a little bigger. But it shows you, it gives you a place for the project. It has the days, and then it also, so you notice, like, there's only 17 on there. Well, there is another page for the others. You could do this front to back if you wanted to, so you only have one page. You just flip it over to do the second part of the month. It's completely up to you, but yeah, it's up to you. You make this work how you want to work. Okay. Something that I personally did is on my dividers, I used a cardstock paper, so a little thicker. And when I had that, I wanted to do something a little bit more fun than just putting an X in those boxes. So I want to put little tiny, teeny tiny stickers, or as small as stickers as I can get in those boxes. It's just more fun. Well, in order to have those stickers on hand, a little more available, I wanted a pocket. So I made one. So I took that cardstock and I used 12 by 12 sized paper. It usually is what the ones I had on hand. And I folded the bottom part up so it looked like, so it's kind of sitting like this. And then I folded it in half again. So folded the bottom up, then folded it in half. And now I have a pocket on both sides. And you punch this side so it just kind of seals everything in. It's not going to come out. And those are my stickers. So very handy. Make your own little pockets, people. The next thing that I printed out, so I'm just going to show you the ones that I've printed so that you kind of get an idea what they have, is a whip page. And that way you can keep track of what you have for whips, because sometimes we start things and we put them away and we don't have a clue that they're sitting there. You forget all about them. It does have a place to start and finish. You can put your dates in there if you want to. Another one that I'm going to probably use is a project bag sheet. How many times have you wondered where that floss is? I know I have some floss. Which bag is it in? This kind of does give you some space. It isn't a huge amount of space. But again, you can make this work however you want. Maybe you're going to use two rows. But that way you can keep track of that. Stitching record. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do this. But I thought I would rather have it printed out than not have it at all. So it has, again, for each project, a place to put your start and your finish. It does have a nice place for fabric. You can write down what fabric you've used, the designer as well. It does have a very small thing for threads. So I don't know if it says you would put on there DMC threads, because that's what it's called for. You put Gentle Arts, I don't know. It does have a nice place here for notes. So maybe if you needed to include more description on specific threads, or I don't know, I changed fabrics, you know, any of that kind of stuff. So yeah, kind of, I'll figure that out as I go. Another nice feature, fully finished projects. Again, this is another one of those, kind of like your whips, where you finish something and then you put it away in your I've finished box, and then you forget you need to fully finish it. So this has, for the project name, you can put your start and finish date, but then it says what I did with it. So the nice thing is I can put the project on here, I can put the finished things, but if I don't have, or you know, and you can do the finish date any way you want. Maybe it's the finish date you actually finished the stitching. Maybe it's the finish date when you actually did the FFO. The other thing is, if you put the finish date for stitching, maybe this isn't filled out until it's completely FFO'd, and then you know you have done that part. Yeah, like I said, use it how you want it. And then the other thing that I am going to do, and not everybody would have this because they don't all, you know, all do this, is a Flosstube record. It's got enough for 2 different videos. It has a place for you, the Flosstube number, the date, the film, date uploaded, pointer. You can fill in your points you're going to do, and then additional notes as well. This isn't got a lot of room, so maybe you're just putting brief little notes here and then explaining more down here, kind of how you want to do it. I also did, as part of the add-on things that you can buy, I did do one purchase for that as well. And that was a conversion chart for Krynic to Traeger braid, excuse me. So quickly there, it does give you all the options if there is one. There are quite a few different things that, so for example, the Krynic and Vintage Silver, there isn't a conversion for it. It does give you all the different sizes as well. So you got the 8, 12, 16. I know there's a 4, so maybe that's what this first column is for. It doesn't really list it as, across the title part, the different columns. So in some cases, it doesn't have a conversion for the 8, 12, or 16. It might have it for the 4, but that's it. So that was kind of nice. I also did make another envelope to put this in, obviously because those pages are a little bigger than my stickers. I needed to make the pocket fit a little better. So I kind of did the same thing where I folded this part up, but even with a 12 by 12 size piece of paper, it wasn't big enough to just fold in half. So what I had to do was fold it partially over, and then I taped this little part closed so nothing would fall out if I wanted to put anything in this little pocket right here. And then taped the edge down like with double stick tape so it wasn't flopping around. So when I punched it over here to fit in, the stuff that's sitting here won't fall out because it is punched and it keeps that part locked in. It's not like you have to tape it or anything. So those are the things that I'm going to use from this particular company, from this lady that does the Shazi and stitches. As I mentioned, there are a lot more than just that. Those were not by any means the only ones that were there. So yeah, give her a little check. I think she's in the UK, so she puts it in pounds, but then tells you what it would be in US dollars. So not a problem. All right, I think we're going to get to my giveaways, the fun stuff. I'm doing this, as I mentioned, because it is Christmas time, and who doesn't like more presents at Christmas? Great stuff, man. So as part of, I was listening to the music when I started off, which was the Charlie Brown. For some reason, when I got this, I got a CD, and then I think I couldn't find it. I think that's what happened. So I went and bought a second one, and then promptly found the other one. Yeah, it's the way it goes. We do that with charts, we do that with floss, we do that with everything. So because I have two, and I don't need two, I'm going to give this one away. So if you like the Charlie Brown music, this is for you. We'll get to how we're going to describe all that in a little bit here. One of the things I forgot to mention that I had found when I went as part of my purchases was these. Get that out of the way here. So we've got a Christmas tree, an ornament shape, and a house shape. These are from Joann's. And if you watched anybody who has shown stuff or gone to Buttermilk Basin, you have seen some of their things that they put in tins, but they're usually much bigger. They're like this big. They're tall. So they may be shaped as a tree. I'm trying to remember what the other ones were. There were several. I know they have several different tin shapes that you put in your wool applique into. You just set it inside. So I thought, that would be great for these. It's the same concept, except for maybe you just put stitching stuff in there, a little stitched item, whether it's a tree or if you want to do something else. A lot of patterns have a house on them. Perfect, perfect. So I found those. And so if you are near Joann's and you want to go get some, go out and get them. They're right now like 60% off because they're getting rid of all their Christmas stuff. I decided to get 2 sets, one for me to keep and another set to give away. So that is going to be another giveaway. I'm going to do all 3 of them together as one giveaway. Okay, so that's going to be the second one. And then the third thing that I'm going to give away is when we went to First Thursday meetup for the Pacific Northwest Stitchers at Acorns and Threads, I had made little gift bags for everybody. They had like little snowman and bunny type of look to them. You may have already seen them. Several people have shown them on their videos. But I thought, I will give one out as a giveaway as well. So there he is. It's just shy of 8 by 10 for size. So if you can compare. It doesn't have the vinyl front, which is what I usually do, but because this is the material that started it all. And I had to cut it out to this size. I couldn't make it any bigger because of how the material was. So in order to make this work, I had to piece, like quilt piece around it, add the border. And so there's the inside. Okay. And the back is like this, kind of the same color as this stuff here. And a little snowflake zipper pull, crystal snowflake look. So I'm going to give this away as well. Now, just a fair warning, if you live overseas and you want to say you want one of these, I think I can get away with this, putting it as a letter type of envelope, as well as this. These were going to have to go in a box. And because they're going to be in a box, they're going to have to go through customs. And that means I don't mind shipping it there, the cost of that, but when you get it, you might have to pay customs fees. I don't know, but I know it's going to have to go through customs because that's the way it works. So just be aware that if you're asking for these things, the 10s for sure, maybe this will have to be customs, depending on if it's going to fit in the little USPS slot and be thin enough to work as a letter. Sometimes I can make it work like that. Sometimes I can't. So anyway, if you want some of this, let's go through our, how you're going to say. Probably the easiest. I mean, if you want to tell me a story about bags or the little tins or some kind of music you really like, that's great. You can put that in there. Otherwise, we can just make it pretty simple and say, I would like the, and then you put it in there. If you want all 3, you want to be put in the drawing for all 3, you can do that. You can say, I would like the music, the ornaments, and the bag. And we'll put your name in the list for all of those. But yeah, I hope y'all will enjoy those and we'll have good fun with all of that. With that, I think I've come to the end. This is a little bit longer video because I talked about the journals, and the reason I wanted to do that is because we're kind of getting to the end of the year and we're thinking about the next year and maybe thinking about how do I want to keep track of things and maybe stitching, maybe other related things. So I thought I'd give you a little show and tell. Anyway, with that, I'm going to sign off and give a big thank you again for all of those of you who have come to visit with me for this time, and I hope you were having a wonderful Christmas. I believe by the time I do the next video, today's the 12th, today's the 12th, so it's going to be real close to Christmas when I do the next video and when I let everybody know who won these things. So it'll be a kind of a virtual Christmas present, but you won't physically get it until probably after Christmas, just so you know. Anyway, with that, we'll see you later.